Thank you, Jim, for joining me for another episode of the Gospel According to Jesus. This is going to be our last episode on forgiveness, at least for a little while. So, as we kind of covered, forgiveness is not a feeling. It's not a peace that you have inside of yourself necessarily. It's not a sense of closure. You can't forgive someone by just feeling like what they did doesn't bother you anymore. By definition, forgiveness is a final active, intentional demonstration or verbalization of the fact that you are not going to impose consequences on the person who wronged you. Like the scripture that says, "Judge not, lest ye be judged," in Matthew. Judgment is an imposing of consequences on someone that you feel they deserve for whatever reason. So unforgiveness is an imposing of consequences. It's a judgment and an imposing of consequences that you feel like the person deserves that hurt you. That's what unforgiveness is. Forgiveness is when you cease to impose consequences on someone that wronged you in some way. You completely cease to impose consequences. The consequences could be completely passive-aggressive. The consequences could be anything. But it's not the way you feel about the person. It's how you treat the person and how you act towards the person, in that you are no longer relating to them in a way that you feel like they deserve because they did something wrong to you. That's vengeance. And unforgiveness is vengeance. Judgment is vengeance. When it says, "Judge not lest you be judged," it's not talking about, it's the same thing. It's not talking about something that's inside of your mind where you think something about someone that may or may not be true, or you don't like something that they're doing, or you're the way they act or something like that. That's not what judgment is. Judgment is the imposing of a consequence. It's the same thing with forgiveness and unforgiveness. Forgiveness is the imposing of a consequence, or I should say unforgiveness is the imposing of a consequence. Forgiveness is when you stop imposing the consequences. That's what forgiveness is. It's active. It's not something inside of you. Under the Old Testament law, when someone wronged you, they actually owed you something, right? If someone got you in a fight with someone and they took out your eye, they had to get their eye taken out, right? If they ripped off your ear, they would get their ear ripped off. They knock out a tooth, they would get their tooth knocked out. That's the idea. So they owe you something, and Jesus Christ was very aware of that. The fact that in Old Testament law, one of the most basic concepts of Old Testament law is that when you wrong someone, you owe them in some way. If you steal from them, you owe them several times the value of what you stole. But if you take an eye or a tooth or an ear, that's something you can't give back. And the same with adultery, that's something you can't give back. So the person, in some cases, would have to be punished by death. If it was adultery or murder, they could be punished by death. But if it was taking of a body part in a fight or stealing something, then they would have to give that back, or at least. And so that's the basis of all sin. When you wrong someone, you owe them somehow. So Jesus Christ was very aware of that. While he recognizes that someone that wrongs you owes you, you are not the one to go get that back from them. That's up to God. He's going to deal with that, and however he chooses to. So again, to reiterate quickly, forgiveness is like judgment, and it's like agape love, and it's like a lot of other things in Scripture. They're not something that's just in your mind. They're not emotional. They're not something you're thinking. It's active. It's something you act out. And when you wrong someone, you owe them, and you can go make it up to him. Jesus very much wants you to make up to people things that you do wrong to them. And one more thing I want to mention is that there's this belief that all sins, past, present, and future, are forgiven. The Bible does not say that all future sins are forgiven. That means that you would be able to just go do whatever you want after you got saved and keep sinning. Jesus says clearly that a brother who wrongs another brother owes him, and if he doesn't make it up to him, that God is going to have accounts with him, and deal with that, and he's going to owe God now in some way. So that's basically a summary of Jesus' doctrines of forgiveness. There's a lot more to it, but in this short of a video, that's about all we can say. I'll probably come back to the issue of forgiveness and talk about it more in the future. Right now, thank you for having tuned in to the Gospel According to Jesus. We really are glad that you are listening, and we'd love to hear your feedback in the comments. Thank you and bless you. Good night.